Hello, this is Raleigh Chen, and I am recording a introduction to Android application development for my computer science course, special topics, internet programming, for my research paper. So let's get started. This is going to be just a very basic coverage of what you need to know to get started in programming. I'm going to assume that you have a basic knowledge of a visual programming language like C# and kind of a working knowledge of Java. So without further ado, let's start with the software that you need to install. The first piece of software you're going to need is the Java SE SDK. This contains basically all of Java and how to develop with Java. It's the software development kit for it. You're going to want to download the JDK here, 7U5 as of July of 2012. That's the latest one available. So you hit download, and you're going to want to get either the 64-bit version here or the 32-bit version. Since Windows 7 usually is 64-bit, mine is, you download that one. So you accept the license agreement, and then you hit 64, and it will download. Since I already have it downloaded, I'm going to go ahead and kick off the one that I already have downloaded. Here, open Downloads folder. Right here. And allow it to install on your computer. And will ask you a number of questions as you go through here. I usually just accept the defaults and let it run. I'm going to skip through the actual install since you really don't need to see that. And then you hit next to install the SDK 2.1 FX. I'm not really sure what this does, but why not? Once you're done to this screen, your setup for Java SDK should be complete. The next piece of software that you're going to need to download is Eclipse. Eclipse is a development platform that is used for many programming languages, especially Java and Java-related things. The version we're going to be using is Eclipse Classic 4.2. You download it here, Windows 64-bit. Once you accept all of these little download agreements, it'll start downloading. Once you finish downloading, the file is going to be in just a zip, and really there's no installation process. You just copy the folder into some place, and that's where it's going to run from. Once you have everything out of the zip file, you're basically installed. You should probably just take a copy or a shortcut of the eclipse.exe and drop it on your desktop. That way you've got something to work with. I already have it here actually. The last piece is the Android SDK. So I'm going to see if I can grab that. The Android SDK has all of the installation files and all of the packages for actually developing in just Android. So once you download that, it's going to pull down. Now that I've finished downloading it, I'm going to run it. It's installer R20.0.1. This is going to install actually two things. It's going to install the Android SDK manager. First it's going to check to see if everything that I have installed is good. So it's going to check all these things. Install just for me. I really don't care about this. The location install, I would advise against installing it in the program files directly, mainly because I tried that in the past, and because of security sometimes it won't let you write to that program files directory. So you really want it in a different directory, because you will be downloading additional SDKs for different versions of Android. So I'm going to put it in the same folder that it already exists, and it's going to start installing. Once it's done, hit next, and it's going to ask if you should start the SDK manager. I would say yes. The SDK manager is a tool with which you can manage what packages you have installed for what versions of Android. you'll see right here the tools, which are the standard ones that you will be required to install, and then all of the different versions of Android. There are also some extras, support libraries, AdMob Analytics, Google Analytics, and stuff like that. I won't be installing any of these just because I really don't need them right now for what I need to do, and they take forever to download. So at this point you get to choose which packages you want to install. Right now it's searching for what I have installed right now and making sure if I need them I have them installed. It by default installs the latest version, which is Android 4.1 Jelly Bean. I'm going to go ahead and install these tools. The SDK tools are already installed because that's what happens at the very beginning. And I'm going to also install 2.2, which I believe is Froyo, because that is the earliest version that I want. You can install all the ones in between, but for my purposes I don't think I need them right now. Once you have what you want checked, then you can hit right here. It says install 14 packages. That's because there's sub packages in here. And then you hit install and it'll start downloading them. Oh wait, you have to accept all of the package and license descriptions. I don't read these usually. This is going to take a while, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave it. What's happening right now is a log popped up to show what's happening. You can see what things fail. This one failed. I don't really know what it is, but it's still going to complete successfully, so I'll just let it go. While that's running, I'm going to go ahead and install the Eclipse plugin. You can get more information about that in this same place where we downloaded the Android SDK. This tells you to install the SDK manager, which we've already done. The next thing is to download packages, which we're doing right now. And the last thing is to install the Eclipse plugin. This is basically just a way for Eclipse to talk to the Android SDKs. So I'm going to start up Eclipse. The next thing it's going to ask is for you to select a workspace. This is basically a directory for it to land all of the files that you're going to be working with. I'm going to make it somewhere a little easier to remember. Temp, I'm just going to call it workspace, and that will be the workspace that I'm going to use to develop. Hit OK. Okay, once Eclipse opens, you'll notice a nice little splash screen. I'm usually not doing anything with this. You want to install the SDK, or not the SDK, the plugin. So you're going to go to Help, Install New Software. Once you're here, it's going to ask you available software. We don't have any software selected, so let's add a site that we can use. The instructions say to call it ADT plugin, so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to copy it from the website here. This is a location to pull plugin information. So hit OK, and it's going to check that website for plugins to install. It takes a little while, but once it comes back, the Android development tools come up, and I go ahead and check both of them, and hit Next, and it's going to go ahead and install those. Alright, and hit Next again. I've got to accept all of these. I think once I select one, it does all of them, and hit Finish. So now it's installing all that software. It's also asking to make sure that I allow access for private networks, which is my home network. If you're on a public network, you'll need to check that one. You'll need to restart Eclipse for this to take effect. Yes, restart. So it's closing. The APKs are still downloading. This will probably, or sorry, not APKs, Android SDKs, which I guess is APKs. and Eclipse is restarting.
And when all of the packages are done loading, it'll look like this. So you can close, and you can see the packages say installed now. So it looks like all of the software is ready to go. To actually open an Android project, you're going to go to File, New, File, New, and you're going to select Project. From here you can open up Android, and you can do an Android application project. Hitting Next, it will allow you to start an Android project. Your application name is going to be what is showing up when you look in Google Play. So let's call this Research Card. And that's going to be the name of the app. And then your project name is going to be the same. The package name is going to be, in Java there's packages which bundle everything together. So let's call this Raleigh. And then you can call this card counter or something like that. Your build SDK is going to be what is the target build that you're aiming for, which means you can include all the functionality for this one, but you know it may not work. Minimum required is what is the lowest build that is allowed for this app to work. So people from Froyo all the way up to Jelly Bean would be able to use this application. From here you would create a custom launcher icon. That's the little icon that is showing up on your phone to launch the app. Since I don't really have that graphical ability, I'm going to go ahead and uncheck this and use whatever's the default. And then create project in Workspace. We'll create a folder for this project.
Okay, this next screen is asking you to create a activity. Now, an activity is Android's version of, it's the equivalent of a screen. Although not all of them are screens. Sometimes you can have a background activity or something like that. But it's basically a page. Think of it as a page. And you have the choice of choosing a template of a blank activity or a master detail flow. Master detail flow has kind of more of a tablet look to it. So we're just going to start with a blank activity. It's going to ask you what you want to call it, and so you can call it main activity. Layout name really doesn't matter here. Just give it a name. Navigation type, you can have none, you can have tabs. Tabs look like that. And then tabs plus swipe, you can swipe between them. Swipe views plus a title strip instead of the tabs. And then drop downs. Now, all of these other ones, you have to have at least 14. Since our minimum version is 8, we can't really use these, so we're going to stick with none. Hierarchical parent, that's if there's a parent activity, but I don't think there's going to be one, so let's just leave it like this. So the name of the activity class to create, this is the programmatic name. Layout name is what kind of layout are we using, and you can have multiple activities using the same layout. And the title is what the actual name of the activity. I don't think this one has to be like programmatic style. It can have a space in it. Alright, so next. This template depends on the Android support library, which is either not installed, or the template depends on a more recent version than the one you have installed. So it's asking what version. You need to have version 8 installed, and I should have it installed, so I'm going to see if install upgrade works. It's going to check the Android SDK manager and I guess pull it down if it doesn't have it. But I should have it already installed, so it's just going to go try to find it. It's looking for version 9 now. And oh, I guess you have to have the ones in between. So it's gonna install it real quick. So it should be good now. Not quite sure why I did that, but didn't do it the first time, so your mileage may vary. So it's checking for all the dependencies for you to code. and it's going to create a very basic program, a hello world program. So let's see what it creates. Alright, so this is the app that has been created. You'll notice we are on the activity main XML. This is basically a functional program. I am missing my file here, so I'm going to see if I can get that view to show up. Window, here it is, open show view, navigator. Okay, so now this is going to show all the files that are involved in this project. This is a functional app, so let's try running it. I need to make sure I have a virtual device to run it on. I created this one earlier. It's my Captivate, but in the Android Virtual Device Manager, you can create a new device and define, give it a name. So let's do another one, ice cream sandwich, which is a version, and it's going to be Android 4.1, and let's say it has a 2 gig memory card. The skin, and then you're basically going to say what kind of screen are you running, or you can give it a resolution. I'm just going to leave it on the default. Oh, it's saying invalid characters. You can't have spaces, so let's dump them. And you create an Android virtual device. Okay, once this is done, you'll see your new virtual device out here. This is basically just a fake emulation of of a phone or something like some type of Android device. So I'm going to close that out, and I'm going to let me go through what these do. You can choose different phones to emulate what the screen is going to look like for this preview pane. You can choose different themes, so everything will look the same and follow a specific theme that's been designed. You can select different activities. Right now we only have one, and then you can choose what version of Android you want it to be most compatible with right here. And when I say most compatible, I mean what is going to show on a 2.2 or what will show on a 4.1. This, for example, right now is version 16, which is Jelly Bean 4.1. So this is what the screen would look like. So let's go ahead and run this as an Android application. So you're going to right click here, run as Android application. I don't know if it's oh yeah, there it goes. So this is pulling it up, and it takes a little while because the device actually has to boot. But once you've turned it on once, you can keep going back and just exiting and coming back and running it again without having to turn it off and turn it back on. Alright, so this is the device that's booted up. You can unlock it, and normally the application just launches, but sometimes it doesn't, so you can hit apps and you can find your app right here, main activity. This is the default icon, so clicking it, it will run, and that is our main activity. Hello world. I think I'll stop here, and I'll come back with the next video to show what actually all these files are doing.